Howdy, y'all. This is Proverbs 25 in the ESV for June 25th, 2023. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not put yourself forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of the great, for it's better to be told, "Come up here," than it is to be put lower in the presence of a noble. What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? Argue your case with your neighbor himself, and do not reveal another secret, lest he who hears you bring shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Like a gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him. He refreshes the soul of his masters. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of a gift he doesn't give. With patience, a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. If you found honey, eat only enough for you, lest you have your fill of it and vomit it. Let your foot seldom be in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club or a sword or a sharp arrow. Trusting in a treacherous man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. Whoever sings songs to a heavy heart is like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, and like vinegar on soda. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue, angry looks. It's better to live in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. Like cold water to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. Like a muddied spring or a polluted fountain is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glorious to seek one's own glory. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Because anything can come into him and take what it wants of him, right? Anyone, anything. The glory of kings is to search things out. So, this is science. This is our discovery of creation and, what is. We're searching things out. And that's what we're here to do, is have dominion and learn more about it, Always this one about being humble. We're talking today about being humble and practicing humility, because as soon as you realize you have humility, then you're on the verge of pride, you know what I mean? Setting you back completely. But this is a good thing in practice. Always put yourself last. Someone can always ask you, someone can always ask you to come up, to put you in a place of honor. But it's easier just to hang in the shadows, do the work, be of service. Don't worry about exalting yourself or being seen, Just be. And then if somebody so chooses and they're like, "Hey, where's Cheetah? I want to talk to him about that thing." Great. But how embarrassing would it be to be sitting next to the big dog, the person throwing the party? And, we've all been in that situation where we're trying to talk to somebody and they're busy, marginally interested, and then someone that's much closer, more important to the event, comes over and they get that person's full attention. That's hurts a little bit, hurts our pride, a little bit shameful, because we thought we deserved that attention and that place of honor, and we didn't get what we thought we were going to get, and then someone else did and demonstrated the difference for us. So, better to spare yourself from that. I'm not sure exactly the context of, like, I guess it's just spilling someone else's beans, and then that's shame on you in a courtroom. So I do like that it just says, just go to your neighbor and work it out. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Another translation says a silver basket with golden apples in it. That's what it's like to say the right thing at the right time. It's beautiful. Sorry, a fierce storm is rolling in, but right now we have an extraordinary sunset and clouds. I got off work way early, did a little more work for a different company, and now I'm just going to call it. I think instead of continuing to work, I'm just going to go home, enjoy the last of the sunlight, and be outside and be with my boys before the storm rolls in. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of a gift he doesn't give. I try to not offer stuff unless I've got it to give, but then I'm a seed junkie, right? So I've got plenty of seeds and plants, and it's like, I'll give you that. So there's at least one situation that's been ringing in my mind where I promised this person something I haven't delivered to them. I haven't planted them myself. I haven't even organized them, but their interest. Sorry. It is not time for that. It is 8:49. I got a long row to hoe. Anywho, with patience, a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. Not loud, not arguing, not being offensive, just hearing what they have to say. Yes, and. Tell me more about that. That's true, and. Continue the conversation. Pastor Mike talks about being curious. Just be curious. Curious with people. Talk about real things. Then talk about sufferings and problems. And then talk about spiritual things. People will open up to you if they understand that they can trust you and that you care what they have to say. I had direct experience with this. Trusting in a treacherous man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. You got to be able to completely trust people. And that includes their character, the way they conduct themselves, things like that. Because the last thing you need to do is for somebody to pop off and get you in trouble. Or to not be strong enough to say what they were supposed to say, do what they were supposed to do, and get you in trouble that way because they failed with the mission, essentially, right? So I know I previously observed 21, right? And 22. If your enemy's hungry, give him bread to eat. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. For you heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Short of how can I put this? Positions on people and sins. So we want to talk about maps and people who have already acted on those desires. Those people are my enemies, right? I guess in some contexts everybody's our neighbor, but those people I feel a special problem with. So other than that, nobody comes to mind as to who is my enemy. I have a few people I'm at odds with. Although even I'm hard pressed to say that, because those same people are maybe in my life and they're not going to go away but we have fundamental disagreements, or they are toxic or unhealthy to be around, right? But they're not my enemies. I don't know that I have an enemy. I had a couple people I really had it out for, and Jesus set the way to pray, and he commands us. It is one of the commands of Jesus to forgive others. They don't have to be sorry. They don't have to ask for forgiveness. You don't have to want to do it. And it won't feel nice. But it's a commandment. Jesus said, if you love me, you keep my commandments. Well, shoot, Jesus. So, I prayed to forgive several of those people in specific situations and people. I don't know that I have an enemy anymore. I'm sure that I have people who are my enemy. Did I say that right? That I'm their enemy. That's how they see me. I don't have anybody I'm warring with. I don't want to speak things on me. Maybe I'm not bringing the fight to people enough, right? But Paul tells us to be at peace with all men as much as we can. So that's what I try to do. The line goes, I don't got beef. I'm a vegetarian. So I'm a little bit struggling in this context. The only thing I can see is those people in my life. I need to go out of my way to show them kindness. But some of those people, once we have removed each other from our lives, either they don't want to hang out with me or us or vice versa. I'm not sure how you can do that, except for when they ask for something, you give it to them, right? You go out of your way to give it to them. So on that note, it's coffee o'clock. That's what time it is. I got some blackberry bushes to deliver to somebody maybe tonight, depending on the weather. I always chirp on the quarrelsome wife bit, but at this point, I think I've said enough times, choose wisely. And it's also how you approach the relationship, right? Like a muddied spring or polluted fountain is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. So does that mean it's like permanently polluted, permanently not useful, not usable? Because we all give way, right? We all fail. Can't be quite what it means. Is it somebody who publicly leaves the faith? As we sometimes see some influencers calling you out, Mr. Beast. I'll never leave the faith. The other day on a video with his trans work partner, he said, in solidarity with that person, we are legion. Just have a look that up. Just look that up. Just look up, we are legion. Now, it could just be yes, solidarity, we're one. But look it up if you don't know where that phrase is from. And that is like a muddied spring or polluted fountain, because that channel continues to put out content, millions of views all the time, growth, subscribers, influence. But he went from very publicly Christian to, I would be hard-pressed to call somebody apostate. However, I don't know what the word is here for this, right? It's a bad look, Mr. Beast. It's a bad look. All right, with that, sun's going down. I'm going to crank the windows down. I'll pump up a little music and go say hello to everybody. Go with God. Be blessed. Hope you got in church today or enjoyed church house. If not, find one. And if you need help, reach out.